was pretty hard. Well, trig unit was pretty difficult, and then I'm sure many people had a little problem with trig here and there. And if you were in my class, I noticed the average was a little bad. So our course average was around a 90, 95, or even 90. I think around 94 to 95 before we started trig. However, after Unit 4, that dropped to around a 90. And then after Unit 5, what I'm seeing right now, after I checked out all your tests and stuff like that, or your assignments and your assessments, and I also gave you like a mid unit quest that I let you guys do. So after I look at all of that, our average is pretty low. We're actually at like a 80, 85. So we're gonna go ahead and do some easy units. I mean, this is an easy unit, so we're gonna try to bring that mark back a little bit because it is a grade 11 course. So we're going to talk all about sequence and series for around the next 3 to 5 days. So, what is a series? Well, what is a sequence? Let's talk about that. So, sequence is actually, a couple numbers that's, they're separated by commas. They're arranged in a certain order. The first term is the first term is usually referred to as T1, T1, T2, T3. This is how we refer to the terms. And, that's not much to do. And essentially, we're just trying to find patterns between these numbers. And we're going to try to write a formula, a mathematical equation that helps us figure out, which number comes after and helps us figure out the number of terms after. Let's start with 1. We're going to write out a sequence given the formula of the nth term. So, Tn, in our case, we have Tn. So, this is basically telling us the nth term, right? Because back when we had, this is T1, T2, right? Tn, this is the nth term. You can also view this as this. Tn is equal to 3n minus 2, right? This is just a simple, this is just a simple linear function that we learned many, many years ago. So let's go ahead and find out the first term. So if n equals to 1, we will have 1. We'll have 1. If n equals 2, we'll have 6 minus 2 giving us 4. If n equals 3, we'll have 9 minus 2, 7. If n equals to 4, we'll have 12 minus 2, which is 10. And we are done. So we're going to write the first couple terms. Oh, first 5, so let's just write one more. So 3 times 5, 15 minus 2, that's 13. So you can see you add 3 each time, right? Let's go ahead and do a quadratic one. So t of n equals to n squared plus 1. So first let's do 1 squared plus 1, that's 2. 2 squared plus 1, that's 5. 3 squared, that's 10. 4 squared is 16 plus 1, 17. 5 squared is 26, right? We're done. So you can see this times we're adding something. We're adding a thing that's a little more weird. So we look at, is it at 3? No. So this actually increases by a certain factor. And then we're going to talk about this the next class. So let's go ahead and move on to 2. Now we're going to try to create a formula, well, I guess, for the nth term, right? So, and we're going to use that to find T8. So first, let's go ahead and write out a couple terms first. So Fn equals 5 minus 2n. So the first term is going to go ahead and equal to 3. The second term is going to be 5 minus 4, which is 1. And the third term is going to be 5 minus 6, negative 1. And then 5 minus 8, negative 3. So we can see it decreases by negative 2 every single time. So let's go ahead and see how are we supposed to go ahead and generate this out. So now we're just going to go ahead and plug in Fa. And we should be able to get the answer. Minus 2 times 8, 16. It's going to give you negative 11. So essentially we're going to use the formula they gave us to find a specific term. Right? Should be pretty forward to do. Let's do the quadratic one. So f of 8 equals to 2, 8 squared minus 1. So what is that going to be? 8 squared is 64. 2 times 64 is 126. Sorry, 128 minus 1, 127. Right? Very easy. Very straightforward. We're done that. Let's move on to question number 3. So this is a really, I'm saying it's a really easy unit. So our first class only has 3 questions, less than like what, 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to use the formula for the nth term that determines the sequence of 4, 7, 10, 13. Alright, so now we are going to be the one to find the formula. Let's look at it. We can easily tell that we're increasing by 3 every time, right? So, of course, we know. So it's 3 every time. So we're going to do Tn. Let's write that out first. So we're going to increase by 3 every time. So obviously we know it's 3 times something. So the first term is increasing by 3. So 3 plus what equals 4? Plus 1. And then let's try 2. 3 times 2 equals 6 plus 1 equals 7. 3 times 3 equals 9 plus 1 equals 10. Okay, our formula works. And now we have to use the formula to find 35. So sometimes I really dislike this part because there's no way for us to check except for trusting our formula, which is a little sad, but that's okay. So T35, so 3 times 35, it's going to be 105 plus 1, that's going to give us 106. And T50 is going to be 3 times 50, which is 150 plus 1 and 151. And there we are done our first class of sequence and series. The problems, the homework problems they gave are very, very straightforward. It's telling you to generate some formulas, or it's going to, well, I guess generalizing formulas and finding different terms. And next class, we're actually going to go ahead and introduce ourselves to the arithmetic sequences, which is basically increasing. And then I'm gonna give you a formula that will help you find the formula of all the sequences. So your homework is on page 433, 434, and 435. There's a lot of problems, but it's really simple.